Hey guys, another video, Fix It Pros, episode number 4. Okay, I saw something interesting this weekend. I saw a cell phone store in a pretty nice part of town that I had looked at before. You know, in the particular shop, it was like a public shopping plaza, and I noticed that this business was like gone now, and I was kind of surprised because it was like a really nice shopping plaza, a nice store. You know, they looked like they did pretty well, and they had been there for about 3 years, and they were completely gone. Sign said for rent. I was like, wow, I mean, I actually wanted to get that a location in there, but because there was already a cell phone business in there, I figured I couldn't get in there. And then I was like, great. I'm like, oh, this will be great for the second store. You know, still thinking about it, but problem is, I'm driving around. I'm trying to figure out, well, what happened? Like, this guy was there for a few years, and you know, things happen. You know, sometimes maybe financially. I was trying to see if this is the beginning where we see like the industry start changing, where the phones are getting a little more difficult to repair. So I was checking, you know, his like his comments, I guess on Facebook, whatever, and they were all positive. I mean, the guy was over fixing 7 pluses, and everything looked pretty good. So I was still curious. I'm like, what's going on? So I'm driving around, and I see a security guard, and this was like a public shopping plaza. I'd never seen a security guard there before, but you know, I pulled them over. I asked them, I pulled them over, and I started asking them questions like, what happened to the business? Well, basically, he said that they got robbed, and I mean, it wasn't by gunpoint. I guess it was like at nighttime. And then I started seeing some old posts and pictures of what they were doing, buying and selling phones, advertising that they buy phone, trade, that kind of stuff. And sometimes I get a little criticized for this, but in my cell phone store, we only do repairs. Like, we don't sell phone, very minimal. We don't even display them. Like, once in a blue moon, we'll get an iPhone, and it's really in case of emergencies. Customers come in, phone's completely smashed, it's unrepairable, and they need a phone. So we do have some very few select phones. They're usually under a couple $100, maybe like $100. Once in a blue moon, we'll get an iPhone 6. We'll sell for a couple $100, but normally they're like Android phones, unlocked, so they're like $100, retail. So not very expensive, and we might have like 4 or 5 pieces of those at a time. So anyways, it got me thinking, well, what's going on? Like what's happening? Why did they target these people? And they were selling phones. They did have phones on the shelves and this kind of stuff. So, but what I did see, I don't know if you guys ever seen this, and I don't want to badmouth any kind of like prepaid cellular companies out there, but I'm seeing a large amount of I don't know if you guys ever seen it, Leica Mobile, and they're going around and they're telling you they give you free advertisement, and then they paint the front of your store with all their logos, their branding. Basically it's like, you should have seen half their windows were covered with this prepaid particular company, Leica Mobile. I don't know how popular they are. I know they're prepaid, but I'm not exactly sure. So, can that have, and I don't want to talk bad about, like, I'm not saying if you have like a mobile, they're going to rob you, but I'm just thinking that when you have, all these kind of prepaid businesses and all this stuff, obviously people think you have cell phones, but I mean, that's the business we're in, right? Cell phones. But people have criticized me because I used to have a cell phone store, and we did all that. I actually had sold Leica Mobile in my store too. It's Leica Mobile, Simple, all those prepaid companies. We sold phones, but we were in a flea market. So there's, not that you can't get robbed there, but it's kind of like there's a lot more, people around the area. People can kind of see it, but what I decided to do with my store to try to help, prevent crime, obviously, nobody, anybody's susceptible to crime, but to really just do repairs, and yeah, some people criticize me and say, well, you're leaving money on the table from activations and really cell phones, but I'm trying to avoid, you know, people thinking you have all kinds of like electronics in your store, and then obviously they come and break in, and a lot of times they break in and make more of a mess. It ends up costing you more money, not even on losing equipment, but having to deal with broken windows. I mean, these retail stores, a window could cost you $600-700. So it's these kind of things to try to prevent people from thinking that you have equipment. And if you see like the big chain type cell phone stores, they they're you got to start thinking about it. Like, how are they so successful and they don't sell phones? They just do repairs and accessories. And why do they have multiple stores, if not hundreds of stores? And why is that? And that's a question that I've always asked myself, and have said, wait a minute, like, there's very few of these small big box chain phone stores, but they seem to be growing, repair stores I should say, and they seem to be growing exponentially, way more than any mom and pop store that does all the prepaid cell phones and the the prepaid wireless stuff, and why is that? It's it's a question to be answered, but thought about. So just wanted to give that thought. Let me know in the comments, see what you guys think about that, about just doing this repair business as repair devices only, and not a cell phone store where you sell phones. I mean, again, if you beef up your security and this and that, I mean, obviously you become less of a target, or it'll be more difficult for you. But it's to kind of eliminate being that target, because I've seen a lot of videos where, like, even these big name cell phone stores, like like obviously like T-Mobiles and stuff, they're getting robbed. In Middle Manhattan, two gunmen, robbing these cell phone stores, obviously because they know they have phones and they have money, but mainly they're going in trying to steal a bunch of phones, because you can get away with a duffel bag full of phones, and that could be $20,000-$30,000 right there. So, but anyways, let me know what you guys think, and please subscribe if you have any questions, comments. All right, have a great day.